What's going on, YouTube? First, giving honor to God, who is the head of my life. We are back with another Wednesday midweek chart breakdown. We're going to be looking at the crypto market and the stock market, so Bitcoin and SPY charts, and we're going to be making our midweek thesis and see what's pushing the markets and where we could potentially go on these next coming days. So without further ado, let's get right into it. I won't hold y'all too long today. All right, so before we dive into the charts, I do want to point out that TraderBoyz School is now live. The link will be in the description of this video. It's free to join. We're going to be talking about all these different things right here. As you see, we have all the classrooms live already, and we're going to be dropping more classrooms with a lot more posts going on, and it's going to be a lot more active over there as well. So if you're looking for a safe place to learn investing, and not only that, grow closer in the Lord, this is your place right here. So now let's get into those charts. All right, so first we're going to dive straight into Bitcoin's chart. For those of you who weren't here on Sunday, in the live stream we have every Sunday on this same YouTube channel, we looked at this chart and we were talking about what we needed to do in order to break this structure. And if that didn't happen, what could have potentially happened? And what we're seeing right now is what happened after we did not break the structure. So right here, as we see on Sunday, we were saying price would have needed to close above here to break out almost a double hurdle. So it would have needed to go over this 8 EMA right here and break out a structure in order for us to be able to head up to this 70K where this liquidity zone is. But you see, we wicked out and we ended up getting smacked back down, closing in the box. And now, just like we said on Sunday's live, we are currently trending on the line. So look, we could potentially keep trending down. And if we were to trend down to, let's say, March 24th, just in this same range, we would potentially come to this 50K box. And now that's not bad news. That's good news, because that's a sell to buy Bitcoin at. That's a steal to purchase Bitcoin, especially if you don't have a lot of capital. You want to buy it lower anyway, so that's something you should be happy to see. The reason why Bitcoin is down is because we still do not have much clarity behind what's going on with the crypto market as a whole, right? We're still waiting on the bills to be sealed. We're still waiting on the crypto industry and banks and the government to come on all one accord. The good news about all of that is in Palm Beach, they're having the World Liberty Financial Forum hosted by the Trump family, and they have a lot of the crypto industry leaders and a lot of important figures in government there, where they are actually talking about structure of the bill along with some of the bank heads as well. So potentially after this meeting, we could see some sort of agreements being made or some sort of policy being shifted to go ahead and inspire or spark, once they get back to Washington, to draft out that bill so President Trump could sign that and put that into place. That is really the only thing holding back the crypto market as a whole, especially Bitcoin, is there's a lack of regulation, a lack of structure when it comes to what exactly we'll be able to do, not only with Bitcoin, but with crypto, stablecoin yields, regulations. That's what makes big money not want to buy, is when there's no certainty when it comes to regulation. So we'll just keep our ears to the ground, waiting on that. Keep on buying the dip. Do not be scared. Do not listen to headlines. Do not listen to any of that. Crypto is the future. Bitcoin is the future. The financial system is changing regardless. I seen they were interviewing one of Donald Trump's son, Eric Trump, and he's saying this is the bullish he's ever been on Bitcoin hitting $1 million. And, you know, he's saying that in the middle of a pullback. And as you know, if you've been around here, I think Bitcoin will also hit $1 million too in these next couple of years. But, you know, we don't really do price predictions. We look at long-term strategies. And right now we know we need to be able to break out of this wedge. So right now, all we're doing is just, you know, riding the trend. You know, anytime you see or you get paid and, you know, price is down, go ahead and buy it. You know, I told my friends, you know, if you see an 8 in front of Bitcoin, buy. So if you see a 6, for sure buy. Like, you know, this is going to keep coming down, and, you know, just look at it as a blessing, because one day when the narrative changes, we'll look back at this price and be like, oh man, what was I doing? But, you know, that's neither here nor there. All right, so now we're going to dive right into this SPY chart, SPY. This is a representation of the S&P 500. It's the ETF of that. So this kind of gives us a good general idea of how the S&P 500 will be moving. So let's get right into that. And for many of you that did not know, today we had the release of the FOMC minutes from the last Fed rate interest cut. And in that minutes report was just a lot of uncertainty. You know, half wanted cuts, half didn't. But one thing that seemed to be the bottom line, at least from my perspective and what I've read and what I've also heard, is that, they are comfortable with waiting for more data to come out until they do decide to make any sort of cuts. So with that being said, when we have our next meeting in March, we probably won't see any cuts there. And this has to do with, when the job report came out, we blew that out the waters to start the year. So, they just probably want to see more data. Jerome Powell only has 2 more Fed cuts until he's out of the chair. Then we'll see Kevin Walsh, pro-crypto, as the head chairman of the Federal Reserve. So it's going to all be interesting. I'm sure we could probably see some cuts there or not, depending on whatever Trump wants, because this seems like to be one of Trump's guys in office. We'll see how that all ends up playing out. But, the markets is led to believe that we won't see a cut in March. So markets had a little slight pullback. We went up to retest that 689. Had a little sell-off right after the news. Not nothing major. And then to end the day, we pretty much came back up. Let's switch this over to the 1 hour chart, get a better idea. So you see the minutes had came out right at 11. In between here, we had a little sell-off. But then for the last hour, we were able to make back that range. All right, so as we've been talking, this 100 EMA has been on our radar on this daily chart. On Tuesday, we nearly clipped it. We were so close, and you see price already kind of rejected back off of that. We could potentially see a true retest of us actually hitting the line to see how price reacts to it. Not too sure. We'll continue to watch, but ever since we've came down here, we see higher lows and higher highs, so that's bullish sentiment. We see these EMAs on the daily chart are about to start gearing and point up. This could also imply some bullish sentiment. We just got to keep our eye out on all of that. Switching down to the 4 hour EMA, same thing. You see we're trading above this 100 EMA right here on the 4 hour chart. 21 EMA, 8 EMA right in between. So for the first half of today, we had a good green run up. And then we kind of had a little sell-off to try to retest, but we ended up closing still up on where we've been for the previous weeks. So there's a lot of good things to see, got a lot of good things to come. Here with the charts, going to the 1 hour chart, same thing. We see our EMA starting to point up. That last hour, we were able to make some headwind after a slight sell-off after the minutes report came out. But, we've seen worse on FOMC minutes. We've seen better on FOMC minutes. But there's just an indecision that's there, not even just among the board, but also just among investors. We don't know what exactly is going on. There's a lot of things happening in the world with war, with tech selling off. We got a trial with Meta going on as well right now. So, there's slight uncertainty in the market right now. So we don't have much of a true headway of if we're going up or if we're coming down. It's more just kind of a little volatility. We're trading pretty much in this range. We're on the 1 hour chart again. We're trading pretty much in this full range right here. It's about a $20 range from 676 up into where all-time highs were, about 698. We can't break into 700s, but we don't lose that 670 range as well. So we'll just keep our eye out and see how price behaves. And if you're an intraday trader, just keep trying to catch volatility at its perfect peak. Stick to your system. Stay disciplined. Do not overstay your welcome, because overstaying your welcome can burn you in this market right now. From what I see, we're just going up and down, trading in range. So you want to make sure you catch the upside to those ranges, catch the downside to those ranges, get out, rinse and repeat. Okay, and if you're a swing trader, just keep buying at the bottom, selling at the top, taking the top back down to the bottom, and rinse and repeat until we actually break above all-time highs or we break below structure of this 100 EMA. Until I see one of those two things happen, I will believe we will continue to play out in this trading range right here. So let's just keep our eyes focused, keep our hearts to the Lord, and stay disciplined. Do not get greedy. Do not get overwhelmed. Just stay disciplined. And if you don't want to trade in this market, just invest. Just buy. Bitcoin's down, as we just talked about. SPY, if it comes down to 670 to retest that, just buy some shares. Look at your favorite companies. If they're down, which I'm pretty sure they are if it's a tech stock, buy some of that. Diversify your portfolio. There's energy ETFs out there. There's plenty of other things you can invest in as well. but make sure you're just doing your homework and you show up every day ready to work. So, with all that being said, we're going to wrap this one up real quick. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure to send this to someone who does not know how to invest and wants to learn more. Make sure you send this to someone who may not know the Lord and you want to introduce them to God, because over here we practice faith and we practice investing. Those are our top 2 priorities in this life right now in this season. So, with all that being said, make sure you join the school. Link in the description. Y'all have a blessed one, and I will see y'all Sunday for the live stream.